Hi, it's me Sam, and this is By Hook or By Needles, and today we are going to be looking at the crunch stitch, and I'm trying to get it so there's no glare, but I will put a picture of this at the beginning, either just before or just after this. So we're doing the crunch stitch. It's a fairly simple stitch. It's multiples of 2 plus 1, the 1 just being your chain 1 for the beginning of the next row. So you can basically tell yourself it's just even numbers and then chain 1 at the end. These are the symbol we use for slip stitches. This is a half double crochet and a slip stitch. So as you can see, it is a piece of work that alternates slip stitches and half double crochets. And then on the second or alternate rows, it flips. So you're doing your slip stitch into your half double crochet and your half double crochet into your slip stitch, and so on and so forth. Quite easy, I think, in the sense that it's beginner friendly. It is something you can probably, once you get the hang of it, you can watch TV and do it, you can chat and do it, and that sort of thing. Okay, so that is the graph that I have created for you. Now, the yarn I'm using today is a 4-weight 10-ply Aran. And here is the little sample that I have made up. This is actually 6 rows, so you can see that it really is. Oh, I've missed one there. I've done something wrong there because there's no slant. Yeah, so it's very textured. It's quite bulky. Yeah, so, all right. I'm using a 4.5mm hook with this yarn. I probably should have gone up even another hook size because I did find this a little bit tight. But that's it. Let's get on with it. So let's get started. I'm going to cast on 16 stitches, as this is a 2-stitch plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then we just need one more. And then into the second stitch from our hook, we're just going to do a slip stitch. We will start every row with a slip stitch, and then in the next stitch we would do a half double crochet, or if you're watching from the UK, that's a half treble stitch. So into the next stitch we do a slip stitch, then the next a half double crochet. I'm using a thick yarn because it's one of those stitches, it's really tiny. I mean, you're not going to want to make a king size blanket with this. Let's put it that way. It would take you forever. But it's a cute little stitch, I guess, for maybe a baby hat or maybe a baby blanket if you were using a thick enough yarn. Yeah. But you know, unless you're using really thick yarn, you're not making a king size blanket with this stitch. It's just a slip stitch and a half double crochet. Half double crochet is of course my absolute favorite stitch. Don't ask me why, I don't know. I think when I'm just doing a row and row of half double crochet, I just get into a flow like many of us do. I find it mindless, sort of, you can just do it watching TV, chatting, whatever. Okay, and we finish on a half double crochet as our stitch graph, which I showed at the very beginning, indicates. A bit of red fluff in there. Okay, so we've done our first row, and we just continue. Always start with a chain and turn, and into the half double crochet we do our slip stitch. So always starting with a slip stitch and ending with a half double crochet. And into our slip stitch we're putting a half double crochet. Slip stitch, whoops, slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet. It is one of those, very simple stitches. It does have a nice sort of texture. It's a stitch I've never even heard of, actually, until Mrs. C. No, I tell a lie. It was Creative Grandma, Gwen, and her grandson Cody, who is now helping her with the channel and doing great things with the channel. He was always talking about doing the crunch stitch, and I thought, I've never even heard of this stitch. And then I was watching Sit and Knit with Mrs. C, and she was talking about this sampler blanket she had been making, and she showed again, oh look, this starts off with this crunch stitch, and I thought, I've got to do this crunch stitch. I cannot be the only person in the world who doesn't know what this is. So hence I looked it up. I looked at the tutorial that the Creative Grandma, I'm sure her name's Gwen, apologies if it isn't, did, and made the graph for you all, and so that you can compare what I'm doing to the graph. Hopefully you can screenshot the graph. You can have that up as I'm working and following along to helicopter, to familiarize yourself with how it is written. Get in there. Cool. Right. And we finish with a half double crochet. And as you can see, it does start forming this really nice little bit of texture, a little bit of, it's almost diagonal. And in fact, I think when I was looking at, oh, there it is. That's on the other side. It's very diagonal. I was going to say, when I was looking at Creative Grandma, I'm going to get her name right eventually. She had it, yeah, you could see the diagonal really well. And I think it's quite pretty. It's just a shame that it's so, such a small stitch. So we start off with, hang on, did I do my chain one? Yes, I did do my chain one. So I just had to check. So we start off with our slip stitch into the first stitch, into the second stitch we do, which is, I think, I'm having a bit of trouble reading where the stitch is. No, that's, yeah, that's definitely right. And then slip stitch into the half double into the slip stitch. I I think as long as you just keep alternating, you should be right. And if you do tend to sort of find that normally when you're crocheting you have trouble with keeping your edges straight, use your stitch marker for that first stitch to show you where. So once you've done the first stitch, put your stitch marker in, and that lets you know where the last stitch is when you come back the other way. That's a single, a slip. What did I do? A single? No, I did a slip. I keep wanting to do a single. That's not the stitch I want to go into. That is the stitch. No, that is a stitch. I'm getting a bit. Yep, that's the stitch I want to go into. Yep. Okay, slip stitch into the doubles, doubles into the slip stitches. I keep wanting to do a double into the double, but that's not the way this stitch works. There's a slip stitch in there. If you ever have any trouble, just go to your top, then you can see the next V, so you can see exactly where you need to go. And I've done this a little bit too tight probably, and that's not helping. And then, see, I've done that first stitch very tight indeed. I need to loosen up on my ends, I think. Otherwise I'm having trouble getting into them. I can see the V, and you can all see the V, I hope. Yep, you can see the V, just slightly there. So I know where I've got to go. It's just getting the hook into it. It's like drilling for oil. Okay. So that's our third row, sorry. And you can really see the texture forming. This would make a great, I think, washcloth. It would also make a great square coaster. Even a placemat, you know, or because it is quite a bulky, thick stitch, you could possibly make it a hot pad. You know, if you used your cotton or wool. Yeah, so, well, that is the crunch stitch. Compare what I've done with the picture that I will show you at the beginning. Let me know too in the comments, do you want me, because I'm happy to do it, do you want me to put up all of these crochet charts, crochet graphs, whatever you want to call them? Would you like me to put them up on my community tab so that you can just you know, search my community tab for whatever stitch you know, that we've done in the past, rather than trying to screenshot? Then all you have to do is you know, go there and save the picture, because I can do that as well. But that is the stitch. I won't, I'll do one more row. I'll do one more row for the fun of it, just so I can prove to myself that I can read the stitches. So we do a slip stitch in the first, half double into the slip stitch, slip stitch into the half double into the slip stitch. Oh, this is going smoother. Slip stitch into the double. So this is my first time doing this stitch, as is the case with many stitches I do them for the first time. And I think that, you know, in a way that sort of shows you how easy or difficult a stitch may be. It also shows you some of the pitfalls, like, you know, for example, I've gone too tight, so it lets you know, okay, you can't have too tight a tension. It also yeah, shows you how I correct errors when I make them and that sort of thing. I like doing stitches I've never done before. Makes it more interesting for me. I don't know if it makes it any more interesting for you, but it makes it more interesting for me. And a half double into the last stitch. Yep, getting those a little bit easier. Okay, so there we go. I've done 4 rows now. So yeah, even with this 10 ply 4 weight Aran yarn, it's doesn't grow very big, as you can see. That's 4 rows. It's not a fast growing yarn stitch, but it is pretty and it's textured. It's not reversible. There's a little bit of a slant there, but the slant is much more prominent on this side. So I wouldn't call it reversible, but I think both sides are just as pretty. But I would probably tend to have that as my front side. Okay, there we go. That's it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you when we next make a crochet graph. Take care. Bye for now.